Again, character training is different than morality. Morality speaks of the facts of right and wrong, where character training reflects the value you assign to virtue. What does that mean? Your neighbor and you both place value on obedience. Children being obedient. Now, your neighbor's never taken growing kids God's way, but you've taken growing kids God's way. You ask your child, in the perfect scenario, you call your child, they come running to you happily, saying, "Yes, Mom, what is it, you precious woman? Blessed are you who brought me life." Something like that, okay? Now, your neighbor's child, she calls her child, and the child ignores her, and calls her again, the child ignores her, and starts to get red in the neck and starts to threaten the child, and the child still ignores her, and then she does something that scares the child into finally responding, and the child half responds to the instructions. But that mom believes in obedience too. Well, there's a disparity here, isn't there? Between what you believe and what she believes. See, you both believe in the same virtue of obedience. The difference is you place a higher value on obedience. That's what we mean here. Of course your neighbor believes in raising an honest child. Of course your neighbor believes that stealing would be wrong. Of course your neighbor believes that a child should be respectful to his or her elders. Of course your neighbors believe that. You believe it too. The difference is the value you place on the virtue. You come with a greater sense of urgency, realizing, but this virtue represents God to a world, so we better get this right in our home. There's a greater sense of urgency for you to achieve these moral outcomes than for your neighbor. Is it that your neighbor doesn't believe in these things? No, your neighbor believes in these things. Your neighbor doesn't place the same value on the virtue. And that's really the difference. The value you place on this.